Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Honor the Father. So I wanted to go over something really quick, really easy to go over, and that's supplementation. So I think a lot of people have a lot of questions. We're going to get into all different kinds of things and how to honor our bodies correctly. So I think that some people, when it comes to fitness, can go a little overboard and it can become this obsession. And I've been there. I've been obsessed with being shredded. I've done unhealthy things. I've really treated my body poorly just to get into good shape or to be lean or whatever the case is. So let's start with one thing. The whole point of this channel is to honor our bodies that God created. So to do that, we have to be taking the right things, but also be eating properly. So we'll get into that. Today's video is going to be about supplements. So I'm going to show you a few things that I take personally that are just suggestions and kind of an idea of what to take. So I have been taking Bucked Up before. I haven't taken this in a while, and here's why. I took a break from caffeine because my wife was telling me that it's probably a good idea to take a break, which I definitely have struggled with before. You don't want to go too hard on caffeine, number one, but I was taking pre-workout, working out 6 times a week, and it just wasn't working for me. So starting out, I was taking a lot of pre-workout, and this actually started to make me sick when I came back on it. So it's a very powerful pre-workout. This is one of those things you take and it's like an immediate, it has such high stimulants. And this is like a very, very, very high pre-workout, but this is called Bucked Up. And this is like one of those things you would take if you want to do a monster workout. But I would also suggest that if you're going to take pre-workout for the first time, don't get something with a high stimulants. Start with something a little bit easier to palate, because this is a lot for someone who's a beginner. Okay. And again, pre-workout can be anything: coffee, pre-workout itself, or even some people just drink a smoothie. It's whatever gives you a boost or energy. You don't have to take pre-workout. For me, I take it because I'm waking up super early with our daughters. They wake up really early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 4. And so to give me the boost that I need to get to the gym in the mornings, I take pre-workout. Now, what I've been taking for the last probably 2 weeks, and I used to take this when I was younger, is Nitroflex. So the reason why I like Nitroflex as well is that it doesn't really have as much ingredients in it. So it's a lot more simple. It's like a 1 scoop thing. It can also be like a high stimulant, the more you take, but I always take 1 scoop every day. And this just gives me the energy that I need without giving me a bunch of creatine. Doesn't have any creatine in it or anything like that. And it's just a very even level for me, a type of energy, because on Bucked Up or on certain pre-workouts, you get really up and then you shoot down and crash. So that's kind of how caffeine works, but it also depends on the other ingredients inside of the pre-workout. So that's the pre-workout section for me. Nitroflex, Bucked Up, you kind of take your choice, but it's really just going to come down to what your preference is and how your body tolerates certain things. Let's talk about protein real quick. So protein is one of the things that I struggle with for a very long time. I was very protein deficient all the way up until the last few months, because every time I would take protein, I would start to get really bloated. And for me, I was trying to be shredded. And so when I would see this bloat jiggle, I would be so mad because I was taking muscle milk. And just to be very clear, muscle milk is very, very fattening. So you have to be careful with the pre-workout. With the protein that you're taking, because it can really actually help you. It would make you gain weight rather than just getting the protein in that you need every day. So the number one thing that I take that I just bought is the Gold Standard Whey. Sorry, this is a little bit messed up. The Gold Standard Whey. And I take 2 scoops every morning. It's gluten-free. It doesn't have as much sugar. So my biggest thing was it has 1 gram of sugar. It has 24 grams of protein per scoop. And it does have high sodium, but for me, I was finding that I was taking Orgain plant protein, and that was amazing. But the problem with it is that it had probiotics, so it was really hitting my stomach immediately, which is a little much for me. I don't know about you guys, but having a protein that you take a lot and you need a lot of protein in a day, it just really, really messed with my stomach. So I had to go with something a little bit different. And I also know I needed whey rather than plant protein, because plant protein, you need a lot more scoops and you need a lot more of it, because it doesn't have as many grams per scoop that something like this does. So like I said, this is 24 grams. So I'll take 2 scoops of that, right? So that's almost 50 grams of protein in one sitting, and your body can palate it. So that was probably the number one thing that I needed with this, and why I switched over is so, number one, to stop having my stomach hurt every time, and 2, to get a proper amount of protein. Okay, so With supplements, again, it's just going to come down to preference. It's going to be important. Some people really take a lot of stuff. There's so many supplements out there. And I would just say, if you're someone who just simply loves to be active and get fit, starting out with something simple, get a high quality of everything. If you're spending only maybe $10 on something, let's just be honest, that supplement is probably not worth taking. And what I mean by that is, like, let's say you take a $10 pre-workout, which I've done. When I've been like broke, I've taken $10 pre-workout and bought in the really cheap proteins, and it's horrible. It tastes bad. It's bad for your body. I remember the Walmart pre-workout actually made my mouth and like my breath smell like plastic. So it wasn't working for me. It hurt my stomach. It was just a horrible thing all around. I don't even know what ingredients were in it. So you have to just, first of all, take your time. Don't get over zealous with working out, number one, because so many people are going to push supplements on you. And if you don't know what you're taking, you don't know how to take the proper dose. So I would say, if you're going to take a pre-workout, start with something small, something that's not super strong. And also, with the protein, you're taking this to just get you to what you need. So you also don't want to be over taking all these stacks of all this stuff to just get into shape. The number one thing it's going to start with is your nutrition, and then your workout plan, and then supplements are just supplements. That's what they're for. They're supplementation. You should still be eating protein. You should still be getting you should still be getting energy from your food, but these are supplements. So they help and add in. So I really hope that helps you guys. If you have questions, just leave them in the comments, because I know for me, supplements was such a horrible situation for me. When I'll tell you my story real quick. When I was 16, I started taking pre-workout for the first time. I had never taken pre-workout, and I took Inno Explode, and it was honestly the most disgusting thing I've ever taken. I remember me and my best friend were trying to wake up every morning and go to the gym before school at 5 a.m, and I would just I would sit there and drink this and just do the shake. I don't know if you guys know the pre-workout shake, but I would do that shake and it would just make me so sick. So I hated pre-workout until later on, when I actually started finding different brands. First of all, they didn't taste horrible, and secondly, what was I using it for? Because at that point, I was like, I'm not taking this. This is disgusting. But when I started getting older and started actually waking up early and wanting to take something, that's when I actually started to research pre-workout. And then that's when I found obviously companies have grown. And so there's a lot of companies now that are producing pre-workout, but they can be sketchy. So let's start there. It can be really sketchy. So you need to be careful with what you're taking. Again, like I told you, for some reason, the Bucked Up was hitting me so wrong. It was just making me so nauseous. I'd come home, and I think even it was on Easter or something like that. I worked out that morning, came home, and I felt so nauseous from whatever was in the Bucked Up. And it just, every time I took it, so I had to stop taking that. But again, it just comes down to what's going to work for your body. You should probably there's samples for everything. So try taking a sample before you buy a whole 30 serving thing, because you don't know if you're going to like the taste. You don't know if you're going to take it every single day. And you also don't even know what it's going to do for your body. It might hurt your body more than it is doing any good. And then again, just keep focus. The number one focus for this is supplements are supplements. Don't get overwhelmed by them. Take them if you feel like you need this, and do some research, because you need to know what it is. So there will be a point on this channel when we go through specifically, what is this? What is this? Why would I take this? How does this benefit my body? And what does it do for me? So Honor the Father is coming with a bunch of new videos. Thank you guys for being here, subscribing, and I hope that if you have any questions, I just want to let you know this is a fitness community to talk about our bodies. We're going to talk about lots of different things, not just working out, but different things about our bodies. So I cannot wait to make more videos for you, and we will see you soon.